Well, the truth as I see it is that that used to be the strategy when it used to work. The premise is that people started their search at Google. That was definitely true in 2010.
Hmm.
I think it was true probably up until, well, I mean, people still start their search on Google now, maybe. But in the past couple of years after the pandemic, I think a lot of that's changed, right? The example I like to use is that recently we were looking for project management software. And if you started your search for that in Google, you go and type in project management software vendors. And I get the first organic result is top 55 project management software vendors. That's not helpful to me at all. That's
It's like
too many.
it's like a yellow pages.
Yeah, it's like a yellow pages. And it's not, I don't think people are trusting the information that's up there because we've had a lot of good search engine optimizers that have optimized mediocre content. It's just not really that helpful. And then we can
Well,
talk about the
yes.
content peak, which, there's just a lot of stuff out there to compete with. So, in short, if you're basing your marketing strategy on SEO today, it's a
Well,
big mountain.
you're probably disappointed actually. You know, here's what my thinking is, and again we've been involved in social media from its inception, and we've done a lot of testing, and this is just isn't just hey off the top of my head. Here's what I think. Um, I think that the way that they originate their buying process is different. They're likely to call somebody, to call around, get referrals, get recommendations. Then they will go online and start searching. But they're not searching on the things that you think. And in order to understand what they are searching on takes a bit of work and research, which people aren't willing to do. In fact, the industry might, SEO people, I love it when they're like, oh, we do our customer research. What they're talking about is keyword research, okay? Just because there's X number of searches on a term a month isn't the same as what's going through the head of the person looking for project management software at the very beginning, right? And that could vary. I mean, I can't spout off what that is because I haven't done the research either in that specific area, but they may be looking for certain kinds of features that they know are must-haves, right? I mean, there's a list of things. You could theoretically optimize on those things, but then the content equation comes in. You have to have robust content that's written for human beings.
Well,
It
and
can still have keywords in it.
I think, if what you say is true, and I think it is true because we tell the truth here.
I try to tell the truth. That's my
um, by the
job.
time by the time they're searching in Google, it's too late for you.
Yes, if you're a salesperson, yes, and also, they may. I mean, think about it. Okay, that's a software. Let's say it's a professional services firm, like a marketing firm. Uh, they might have gone through 10, 12 websites by the time they get to you, and so they're
Well,
just
look,
they know more than you think.
that's a good example because, like, as a marketing agency, I'm not in an industry that you don't understand what I do. There's not a lot of
Is that better
education,
on the
right?
audio?
So, what term am I going to optimize to catch you when you're in the middle of a buying decision? I guess, like, if I was super niche based, like, we work, we're a demand gen agency for SaaS that are incorporating AI and want to differentiate themselves from the crowd. Maybe that long tail keyword would work.
I think there's a value equation that has to be looked at. I mean, if you have unlimited money for your marketing budget, two things. First, call me. And second, do SEO. What do I care, right? But I think there's a value problem with it. It seems to me, if I were making recommendations, that it would be one of the more inefficient way to reach a B2B buyer. That's just what I think and what I've found. And maybe some SEO people could chime in the comments and tell us we're idiots. But
And I think we should say that it's still important to try to maximize keywords and long tail keyword phrases, especially if they help identify some buyer intent. I just wouldn't make it the centerpiece of your strategy.
Well, and if you go to an SEO firm, that's often what will happen. And you
If
can
you let them
expend,
drive the
if you let
strategy.
them drive
Yeah.
it, they can expend an enormous amount of energy and billable hours. Because that's the other thing I think is very misunderstood about SEO in general is don't have expectations of anything fast happening. Um, it really is a very long tail,
Well,
and
that should be the mantra for marketing in general, right?
if you don't have enough money to do the hard hitting things that drive demand, you shouldn't even be thinking about SEO. I mean, that's the way I look at it. If you have that level of budget where you can do that, to me, it's hard to do a little bit of SEO, you know,
Right. Like, and be effective. Yeah.
and be effective, right? And it's so like, I think that maybe the answer is the truth is it's not completely wrong, uh, but it's very inefficient. Now, there
I
is this
think the
site.
strategy needs to change there a little bit in terms of, we got to stop looking for the immediate lead or the form fill.
Tell